Let's call a spade, and let's say that we have spent so much time focusing on technical skills. And I don't just mean technology, I mean accounting skills, legal skills, professional skills. We've been going to universities for a very long time, and we've been working in a way that's all about information and delivery and information. And we've been pushing data, and we needed to do that. So there's no right or wrong here. We had to do that to build the system that we could eventually connect. But we have not really invested in humans. And if you look at the language, soft skills. Even in our language, we call it soft. We call it little. And that was fine in the information age because we were leading with information. Now we're leading with ideas. And if we don't lead with ideas, we run the risk of being, I guess, overthrown. I don't like to use the word competition, but I like to say we get overthrown by other companies that are. And as technology matures and gets easier and simpler and learns and evolves itself without any human experience, perhaps we need to start be focusing on our human potential and what it means to be human, because we've really forgotten what that's like. And I'm seeing this time and time again in clients. And a couple of industry examples, finance, for example. In the old days, you studied accounting maybe for 5 to 7 years. You did your articles, and you had this huge skill and all these books stored in your head so you could go and do someone's accounting. Now, the accountants that are thriving, I can buy an app called Xero, for example, and I can do accounting on the go. So as I get an invoice, I take a photo of it. I store it and say what the transaction is, and the machine and the technology just accumulates it. In fact, all my accountant does is push a button, and there's my tax done for the quarter. So the real accountants that are valuable and the real accountants that are doing well in this industry are the ones that are actually people-focused. Because anyone can push a button now. It's the ones that care, that give you financial advice and focus more on the strategic financial side. We're seeing this in health, massive one in health. So instead of nurses and caseworkers putting in forms for leave and pushing data and writing out forms, that can all be done with a mobile device. And we're seeing that the best healthcare providers are the ones that are people-centric. The ones that actually care. Who's been to a GP here where you give them your symptoms, they put it on Google, they print you it out and give you a prescription? Has anyone had that experience in Australia? Me too. So I don't see that. I would rather just go to a robot because I can Google that for myself. I do not recommend Googling your health symptoms, by the way. It's a bit stressful. But the real health professionals are ones that are rising and are being people-focused and using technology and people to support that, so we can focus. Law's another big one. I've never met my lawyer. He is plug and play. He gives me all this do-it-yourself stuff. I can download wills, I can download contracts, but his advice is more strategic around where my business is going and how he can support me and protect me. Make sense? So the best lawyers in this industry are more strategic. They care. They're more about problem solving and not just filling out forms and writing emails for $2,000 an hour. God, that's a nice profession. IT. I'm seeing so many companies investing in IT resources. Great, but what happened to our IT departments? Have you noticed they've gotten smaller and smaller and smaller? And the reason for that is most of them are sitting on the vendor side, so working for Salesforce or working for SAP. And what's interesting is as technology starts learning itself and molding itself, the best IT consultants are the ones that think more strategically, that are able to show up and not just say, I'm going to configure according to a spreadsheet, but I want to understand your business. I want to ask questions on what you want to get out of this technology and then mold it. And that's where we're seeing success in the industry. And of course, mining and construction with 3D printing. Think about Adani. Adani has humanless mines. It's kind of scary, because they can just go somewhere and robots just take over. But the best miners and the best construction people are the ones that are more strategic and thinking about design, thinking about outputs, thinking about these things. So there's a golden opportunity. We can either sit there and go, oh, my profession's going to be redundant, or we can say, hold on, I've got some skills, I can learn some new ones, and I can mold myself to this changing world. Does that make sense? Great.